All right, Daniel, I want to do a little thought experiment with you today.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the setup?
Be afraid. Be very afraid. Imagine a business owner right here in our area. They've been a staple in the community for a decade. They have a solid plan to expand, and they've spent 20 years learning that trade. But they decide to call a 1-800 number for a big national bank because that's where they've always had a personal credit card.
Okay, I see where you're going. They spend an hour on the phone with someone in a different time zone. They upload their tax documents to a generic portal, and they wait.
Right. And when the answer comes back, it's a no. Not because the business isn't successful and not because the owner isn't capable. When you've spent that many years doing your trade, you know what you're doing. But simply because their specific type of business or the age of the building they want to renovate doesn't fit into a pre-programmed risk category on a server hallway across the country.
To that computer, they're just a standardized data point that doesn't fit the mold.
That's right. But now, imagine that same person walks into one of our First Century Bank branches. They sit down with a lender who has actually shopped at their store, who knows their family, and who understands that the neighborhood is practically begging for this expansion.
That is what we call the rooted in community difference. It's the difference between being a data point and being a neighbor. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on where your money actually goes when you deposit it with us, and why local decisions are the heartbeat of a thriving town. Welcome back to Making Sense of Your Sense. I'm Daniel Hill.
And hello, friends. I'm Shanna Browning. And we're closing out April with an episode that is so very close to our hearts. At First Century Bank, we often talk about being rooted in community. But today, we want to explain exactly what that looks like in practice.
Banking can sometimes feel like a cold world of numbers. But at its core, community banking is about relationships.
Absolutely.
It's the fact that the person making the decision on your loan might be the same person you see at the grocery store or the high school football game on Friday night.
Which I love. And today we're going to talk about the life cycle of a local dollar, the history that built our foundation, and why choosing your bank is actually a vote for the future of your own neighborhood. So Daniel, when we say rooted in community, so often that I think it's important to stop and define it. To us, community isn't just a place on a map. It is a verb. It's an action. It's something you do.
That is a great point. If you walk into any of our branches, you aren't just seeing employees who are there to process checks. You're seeing people who are deeply invested in the life of their town. We have Little League coaches, people active in local civic and service organizations, and team members who spend their Tuesday night serving on the boards of local nonprofits and food pantries.
And I love every bit of that, and it's really about sweat equity. It's one thing for a bank to write a check for a sponsorship, and we certainly do that to support our local schools and band programs, but it's another thing entirely for the staff to be the ones that are out there flipping the burgers at the high school fundraiser or volunteering at the community festival.
That presence is what gives us our roots. And if you think about an oak tree, the part you see is above the ground, the branches and the leaves. That represents the shelter and the sponsorships we provide. But the part underneath, the roots, that is the personal time our team spends building those relationships.
And what I love about those roots is that they mean we're sharing the same life as our neighbors are. Whether we're running into each other at the grocery store, cheering on our local teams, taking our families to church on Sunday mornings, that shared connection means we aren't just observing the community, we are part of its fabric.
It changes the entire perspective of our bank. While a national bank might focus purely on spreadsheets, we focus on the potential of our neighbors because we're right there with you. We have a front row seat to the dreams and successes of the people around us. We aren't just here for the safe moments. We're here as a proactive partner to help the community grow and flourish year after year.
And when our neighbor walks in with a big dream, they aren't talking to a stranger. They're talking to someone who's rooting for them. We're rooting for these people to succeed because when they succeed, we succeed. And that shared growth is what makes being a community bank so rewarding. It's about building a foundation where everyone can thrive. The active presence is fueled by what we call the life cycle of a local dollar, just as you mentioned previous. So when someone puts $100 into a savings account at First Century Bank, what happens to that money?
Well, your deposit stays local. It becomes the fuel of our local lending.
And I love that theory. So my deposit of $100 might be part of the loan for a young couple building their first home 3 streets over?
Exactly. Or it might be helping a farmer upgrade his equipment, or a local restaurant owner adding a new patio. When you bank locally, your money stays in the local ecosystem. It creates jobs. It builds homes. It grows the tax base that pays for our schools and parks.
And so let's compare that to a national huge mega bank. If you deposit there, that capital might be sent anywhere in the world to fund a corporate project that has zero impact in our area or your area.
Wow. That is what we call the capital leakage problem. When money leaves the community gets weaker. But when money stays rooted, the community gets stronger. Every time you deposit $1 here, you're essentially investing in your own backyard. Hey everyone, it's Daniel Hill from First Century Bank. If you've enjoyed listening to Making Sense of Your Sense, and you found our tips helpful for your financial journey, I want to ask you a quick favor. Please take a moment right now to hit that subscribe or follow button on your favorite podcast app. It's the best way to make sure you never miss an episode, and it helps other people in our community find the show. We also really want to hear from you. Do you have a question we haven't answered yet, or just want to let us know what you think of the podcast? If you're listening on Spotify, you can leave us a comment directly on the episode page, or you can always send us an email at podcast@fcbtn.com. We're building this show for you, and your feedback helps us make it even better. Thanks so much for listening and for being part of this journey with us.
That local investment only works because of how we make decisions. So if I apply for a loan at a big national bank, who is actually deciding if I get it?
Well, in many cases, it's not a who, it's a what. It's an algorithm. They plug your score and income into a program and it spits out the answer. There's very little room for context.
But as we know, life isn't always a perfect credit score. People have stories.
They do. At First Century, our algorithm is a group of people, our loan committee. And that committee is made up of the senior management of the bank, people who live, work, and play right here in our neighborhoods.
And we love our loan committee people because it's a huge distinction. If a borrower had a dip in their credit because of a medical emergency, but we've known their family for years and we know that they are hardworking and reliable, our loan committee is going to take that into account.
That's the common sense lending we always talk about. We have the flexibility to look at the whole person, not just the 3-digit number. We already know the neighborhood because we're part of it.
And that human connection is the heart of everything we do. And we see it play out every day in the questions our neighbors bring to us at our branches.
It really is different. One of the most common questions we hear is, what does day-to-day work at a community bank actually look like compared to the big national chains? Is it really that different?
Oh, Daniel, it's night and day. And we know that. In a big chain, employees are often very specialized. But here, we wear a lot of hats.
Oh, yes, we do.
Our relationship bankers know their customers by name. We aren't just processing transactions. We're solving problems for our neighbors.
Another question we get, especially from people just starting their financial journey, is what are some lessons you've learned the hard way in banking that we can learn the easy way?
And I'd say the biggest lesson is that price isn't everything. People often chase the absolute lowest interest rate they can find from some random digital lender online. But then when something goes wrong, and it will, they can't get a human being on the phone.
We've seen that frustration many times. They come into our branch because they've been on hold for 3 hours with a call center. The lesson is the value of a local relationship becomes very clear the moment you have a problem. Having a banker you can actually look in the eyes is worth more than a tiny difference in a rate.
You're speaking my love language here, Daniel. It's perfect.
All right, Shanna, let's wrap this one up with a simple way for our listeners to put this rooted philosophy into action this week.
All right, your actionable tip for the week is to support local first.
It's so easy to default to big online retailers or national chains. I mean, let's be honest here. We all have Amazon Prime. We all have Walmart Plus. I mean, and it's so easy to pull the app out, shop on the app, submit your order. And I mean, in most cases, it shows up on your doorstep. I get that. I do. But this week, we want to challenge you to make one intentional purchase at a local small business in your community.
Deal. And I think this is easy to do, whether it's grabbing a coffee at a local cafe, buying a gift at a neighborhood boutique, or getting your hardware supplies at the local shop.
And remember, when you spend that dollar locally, that money pays a local employee who buys groceries at a local store, and the taxes stay here. You're literally building your own community with the swipe of your card.
We can talk about this all the time because it's something that's so important to
Absolutely.
us. And we want to see it. So when you do this, we want you to take a quick photo of your local find or that morning coffee and post it on social media. We want you to use the hashtag Rooted in Community. Again, hashtag Rooted in Community, so we can all share in supporting our neighbors.
And we'll put that hashtag in our show notes so you can see it there as well. It's a small way to show some big love for the people who make our community unique.
Daniel, like I said, this is a great one. It speaks to my heart, and it's important for people to know that they have a choice where their money lives.
Oh, they really do. Next week, we're moving to the digital world.
Oh, the world of digital.
We're going to deep dive into the new frontier of fraud. And this is going to be a little eye-opening.
Yeah.
But we're going to be talking about AI, voice cloning, and how scammers are using technology to try and get around those relationships that we've built.
It's a serious, serious topic. And we want you to be digital, but we're going to give you ways that can help you be preventative for doing those things. So we're going to give you tools to stay one step ahead. Subscribe now so you don't miss that update.
Thanks for being part of our community. Now, go out, make some sense of your sense.